Hello, welcome everyone. In this video, we're going to learn how to find out the midpoints for our coordinates and the distance between the coordinates. So coordinates are basically the points on the coordinate plane, which is the graph plane right here. So this particular slide is I'm gonna show you how to calculate the midpoint between the two coordinates provided. So let's start with the formula. It's x1 plus x2 divided by 2 comma y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So basically we are taking the average of the x values that are provided, and we are also taking the average of the y values. That would give us the midpoint for these 2 points that are provided to us. So normally you would be provided like x1, y1, and x2, y2. So the midpoint would be equal to the average of x's, which is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and the average of the y's, which is y1 plus y2 over 2. So let's write 2 points. Let's do 2 comma 6, and we do another point 4 comma 10. Okay. So the midpoint would be basically the small x value would be your x1. So out of these two, the smaller one is 2, and the larger x value would be your x2, and the corresponding y value would be the y1 for x1, y1, and this would be the corresponding y value with the x2 would be y2. So the midpoint would be just x1, which is 2, plus x2, which is 4 divided by 2, comma y1 is 6, plus y2 is 10 divided by 2. So this is equal to 6 over 2 if we add these two, comma 16 over 2, and now we go ahead and simplify this. It becomes 3 comma 8. So this is our midpoint right here. I'm gonna in the next one I'm gonna actually calculate a smaller midpoint, so we can actually plot this here, because this is a large value. Like we can put 3, but we cannot put 8 because our window is small. The highest value that we can have is 3 in the y direction. So let's do another example. Here we're gonna have let's say 0 comma 1, and then we have 2 comma 3. So these are the 2 points. So the smaller value of the x is going to be x1, and this is going to be the y1 then. The larger value is going to be x2, and this is going to be y2 right here. Now we're going to use the midpoint formula. So x1 is 0 plus x2 is 2 divided by 2 comma y1 is 1 plus y2 is 3 divided by 2. So we have 2 over 2 comma 4 over 2. This is equal to 1 comma 2. So this is your midpoint for these 2 points right here. So we're going to go ahead and plot these 2 points. We have 0 comma 1. That's the first point. And then we have 2 comma 3. This is the second point. So this is 0 comma 1. This is 2 comma 3. Now the midpoint is between these. If we connect these points, the midpoint is exactly right here, which we just calculated 1 comma 2. This is the midpoint. Okay, so that's how we see it on the coordinate plane. All right, so that's how we calculate the midpoints between 2 points. Now let's go ahead and finding the distance between 2 points. This is a little bit more challenging than finding the midpoint. So the distance between 2 points is basically you subtract the x2, x1 from the x2, so smaller value is subtracted from the larger x value, and similarly you subtract the y2 minus y1, you subtract the smaller y value from the y2 and square that. And there's a little typo right here. Let me put a parentheses because you're squaring the end, the difference, not y2. So this is how it should look like. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of examples. So here we have a point. I'm gonna put like a 0, 1 and 2, 3. So these are our 2 points. So looking at these 2 points, the smaller x value is 0. So this is x1, and this would be the y1 then. And this is x2, this is y2 right here. So if we plot these 2 points right here, 0, 1 is right here. This is 0, 1. And then 2, 3 is right here. You go 2 in the x direction and 3 in the y direction right here. This is 2, 3. Now we are finding the length right of this segment right here, the distance between these 2 points. If you look at it, you should be able to see a right triangle with the height, this right here, and the base right here. That's why the formula is basically you're trying to find out the hypotenuse of the right triangle. That's why which is this length square plus this length square. So that's why we see this formula right here, because if you take the hypotenuse, is basically hypotenuse is this side is equal to the square root of the square of this side and this side. So how do we find out the length of this side? The length of this side is basically the height, which is going to be basically y2 minus y1, because this is the y2 right here and this is the y1. So if we subtract the smaller y value from the larger y value, we get the height, and this is the base, and that would be x2 minus x1, and that's what we see in this formula right there. So we're going to go ahead and plug in x2 minus x1, which would be x2 is 2 minus x1 is 0 square, plus y2 minus y1 is 3 minus 1 square, and we take the square root of that right there. So this is 2 square plus 3 minus 1 is also 2, square that, and then we take the square root of the entire thing. So here we have 4 plus 4, which is equal to 8, and square root of 8. And if we simplify this, this becomes 2 square root of 2, or you can calculate using calculator. Will give you in the fraction, in the decimal point, I'm sorry. So the length of this side is then 2 square root of 2. So as long as you understand that whenever you have 2 points on the plane, 2 points, you can always make a right triangle, and basically you're trying to calculate the hypotenuse of the right triangle. Basically that's the distance between 2 points. So let's do one more example. Here we have 1, 3, and then we have 2, 6. So I'm going to go ahead and find out the distance between these 2 points. So your x1 is the smaller x value, which is this one right here, x1, and this is your y1 then, and this is your x2, and this is y2. And we go ahead and plug in to this formula right here. This is basically x2 is 2 minus 1 square plus y2 is 6, y1 is 3 square. And then we go ahead and simplify this. 2 minus 1 is 1, and we take the square of that, plus 6 minus 3 is 3. We get square of that and take the square root. So this becomes 1 plus 9 and square root of that, which is 10, square root of 10. So this would be the distance between these 2 points, is square root of 10. So I don't know if I can plot this because our scale is only to 4, so we really can't plot that. But let's, this is the distance between these 2 points, and that's how we calculate it. Thank you for watching.